So, what if you could prove you're over 21 without ever showing your ID? Or log into any website without a single password? Today, we're going to break down a revolutionary idea that makes all this possible. It's called self-sovereign identity, and it's all about putting you back in control of your digital self. Okay, let's just dive right in with a huge question. Who actually owns your digital self? For pretty much the entire history of the internet, the answer, believe it or not, hasn't been you. It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer has been incredibly complicated and, frankly, not really in our favor. Instead, for years, our digital lives have been completely fragmented, scattered across all the different services we use. I mean, think about it. We've all created dozens, maybe hundreds of different accounts, essentially giving away our personal information to be stored and controlled by big corporations, not by us. And this brings us to the core issue. This old system, what we call the Web 2 model, is just fundamentally broken. We've all felt its shortcomings. All these separate, siloed accounts creating these massive honeypots of data that are just sitting there waiting for a breach. Just think about it for a second. Every new app you download means another new login. And for these platforms, the whole economic incentive is to vacuum up as much of our data as possible, centralize it, and create these giant targets for hackers. Our information gets sold, it gets monetized, and at the end of the day, we have almost zero real control over our own digital footprint. But here's the good news. A massive paradigm shift is happening right now, one that's designed to put you, yes you, back in the driver's seat of your own digital life. And this is the whole idea behind self-sovereign identity, or SSI. It's a new model where you are in charge, and it's powered by some really clever tech. It uses things like blockchain for security and a concept called zero-knowledge proofs, which lets you prove something is true without ever revealing the secret information behind it. It basically flips the old model completely on its head. And this is where it gets really, really powerful. You can prove things about yourself without actually handing over the data. Imagine proving you're old enough to get into a venue without ever showing your driver's license or telling anyone your actual birthday. That is the magic of this system. So you're probably asking, how does any of this work without a giant company in the middle controlling everything? Well, it relies on this simple but really robust three-part model, often called the triangle of trust. And what it really does is shift the risk away from those big platforms. First up, you have an issuer. Think of this as a trusted authority, like a government agency or maybe your university. They create and cryptographically sign a verifiable credential for you. For example, one that confirms your date of birth. Second, there's the holder, and that's you. You get that credential, and you store it securely in a private digital wallet right on your phone. You are the one and only custodian of this information. You're in charge. And finally, you have the verifier. This could be any website, an app, or any service that needs to confirm something about you, like asking for proof that you're over 18. So putting it all together, the whole process is actually super seamless. The verifier asks for proof. Your digital wallet generates one of those special zero-knowledge proofs that just confirms you're over 18. You submit it, and the verifier gets the yes or no answer they need without ever seeing your birthday. Trust is established, and your privacy is totally preserved. Okay, so let's shift from the theory to how this is actually playing out in the real world with one of the leading projects in this space. What started out as Polygon ID didn't just stay still. It evolved to serve a much, much bigger universal vision. The journey of this tech shows a really clear path toward becoming a global standard. It started as an in-house project at Polygon Labs, then it spun off to become the chain-neutral Privado ID, then it merged with Disco.xyz to unify identity, and it's all culminating in the planned launch of the Billions Network, which is meant to be a true global trust layer. And this whole evolution was absolutely essential. I mean, you can't build a trust layer for the entire internet if you're tied to just one ecosystem, right? It had to become neutral middleware. Think of it like the digital plumbing that connects everything, supporting any compatible blockchain and just letting different systems talk to each other. And look, this isn't just some far-off theoretical concept. It's already being implemented by major institutions that have to balance security, compliance, and, of course, user privacy. Take a major institution like Deutsche Bank, for example. They've explored using this tech to streamline their whole Know Your Customer, or KYC, process. Imagine investors being able to prove they're qualified for an investment without showing their entire net worth, or creating regulated finance pools, all while the bank massively reduces its own risk by not having to store all that sensitive personal data. Now, this approach is pretty different from other identity solutions you might have heard of, like WorldCoin. While WorldCoin needs you to use specialized hardware, that biometric orb, to scan your iris, the Billions Network uses the tech you already have in your pocket, your smartphone, and your passport. It's a much less invasive approach that doesn't require any special, weird hardware. And this vision has some serious momentum. It's backed by $30 million in capital funding to scale the mission and actually build out this global network. And it's not starting from zero either. The ecosystem already has over 900,000 verified individuals in it, building a huge user base on its journey to onboard millions, and eventually, billions of people. So what does all of this culminate in? It's a vision for a totally new kind of digital economy, one that's built not on exploiting data, but on verifiable, user-controlled trust. In an age of sophisticated AI, deep fakes, and just a flood of misinformation, being able to cryptographically prove that you are a unique human becomes fundamentally important. This concept, private proof of humanity, lets us distinguish real people from bots without ever sacrificing our privacy. This whole thing establishes the foundation for what's being called a global trust economy. It's a future where your digital identity and the reputation you build online are sovereign assets that you and only you own and control. It redefines how humans and maybe even AI can interact online with verifiable integrity. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? I'll leave you with this thought. In a digital world that's getting more and more saturated with AI, our ability to prove our unique humanity, privately and securely, might just become our single most valuable digital asset.